Hey there, this is Jeff Melcher from Cycling Farm and Fitness. As some of my coached athletes and teammates know, while they were out doing their long run today, I was out doing a run test, an Aerotune Run Test. I wanted to give a couple highlights of that. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And then I want to first go into Training Peaks. I'm paused right now. Let's resume. Okay, now I'm sharing. We're going to Training Peaks, and today's workout was the Aerotune Metabolic for track. I ended up doing this on the open road, um, kind of like my pseudo track. Sometimes we do the best we can with what we have. The Grafton High School track isn't always available. I didn't want to take a chance. So we all started down at the park by the Grafton pool. And I ended up doing laps around this little triangular course. I probably did 5 laps by the time I had this all done. And what the run tune test consists of is about a 20-minute warm up, and then push the button on my watch to start the test. And then I have to do in between a 4 to 6 minute max effort. It sounds painful. It's a little painful. It's tough to kind of get to learn where your max is, but usually I just practice a couple of days before. I'm just below what I think I can do for test day. And then I just know really what effort to put out for test day to have it work out. With a power meter, it gets to be a little bit more specific. And I ran the same course 2 days before. So I got a good feel for my power. Then you do like a 20 to 25 minute walk slash jog. You can have carbohydrate. You should have carbohydrate. You need to stay fueled very well in between so that you can hit this 12-minute section here and again do your personal best. So got 12 minutes, 12 seconds there, 308 watts. I think the Aerotune software saw that as 309 watts. Couple of hills, some wind, cold wind's always slow, so pace was 7 minutes per mile. Again, but I kind of started and finished on the hill because I wanted to have a little bit of hill assisted higher power values. It's not a big deal, very minimal gain there. So that was the workout that I did today. And then I'd like to share just some of the results. So if we go over to my desktop here, I wanted to start with the 2023 version of this test I did. This was the first year I did the run test. I've been doing the bike test for a couple of more years before this, but this was a chance for me to bring it into run because that's when Aerotune first came out with their run test. I believe it stayed the same throughout the years. Back then, my 4 minute power was 317 for watts. My 12-minute power was 293, but you can do this on pace as well because it's bringing pace along for the ride as long as you have a good GPS connection. So that had my VO2 max at about 49.9. We'll call it 50. VLA max is a little bit more challenging with run, but zero point 0.2 was what that came out to be. My critical power, about 280 watts, was critical power at 713 minutes per mile. So 7 minutes and 13 seconds. And my fat max was 9 minutes and 31 seconds per mile. So again, there's a critical pace. This is the top of zone two, the 931. And the top of zone four is the 713. And then, of course, it gives me my breakdown of what I'm burning for fats, carbohydrates, and fuel by pace. Unfortunately, it's minutes per kilometer. This is a German-based company, but 5 minutes per kilometer is 8 minutes per mile, roughly speaking, very, very close. So that's my pace of interest. Um, I'd say off the bike in a 70.3, that's pretty close to where I'm at for a half marathon. Goes one step further, head back then in 2023. It estimated that my quickest half marathon would be 144. And if I had 30 grams of carbohydrate, which would be this yellow bar, it came out to 1 hour and 40 minutes. And if I had 60 grams of carbohydrates per hour, so I was taking in 60 while I was doing a race, I would come in most likely at 1 hour and 38 minutes. So that's best case scenario. It really is optimistic. It's considering that you're doing this on a track. But 144 all the way down to 138. So a 6 minute difference. And it's all based on me having 60 grams of carbohydrate versus none. And again, remember, this is a standalone half marathon. So that's interesting, I thought. Those were lessons learned. At 8 minutes per mile, I burned about 100 grams of carbohydrate, came out at 99. So remember that number because we're going to compare that to 2025 and 99 grams per hour. That's why I think the drop off is pretty significant between no carbs and 60 grams per hour during the run. So again, my goal is about 90 grams of carbohydrate in a 90-minute run. So we'll go back to the screen sharing here and I'll bring in my 2025 results. I have 2024 results. They kind of landed in the middle. Let's look at 2025. That was the test I just did today. Once I get the data, it downloads into Aerotune's platform. Again, if you don't have power, it's going to use pace and heart rate, and it's going to give you the same sort of data. So what they had there was my 4 minute test result was 323, and my 12 minute test result was 309. So that was quite a bit better than 2023. And what that works out in paces is my per zone four limit was 647 minutes per mile. So 6 minutes, 47 seconds per mile. And my fat max pace is 8:35 per mile. So 8 minutes and 35 seconds per mile. So a huge improvement, much more efficient since I've been training longer for 70.3 and becoming kind of a 70.3, what can I say, specialist. So really good to see those improvements. And the forecast for if I was on a track on a perfect day is now Aerotune's coming out that based on this test result, I should be able to do a 1 hour and 34 minute half marathon. Again, not off the bike. This is just a standalone race in perfect conditions. No hills, track, blah, blah, blah. And they do have a simulation tool if you have a hilly course or you have suboptimal weather. So you can plug in your values and get updated results. And then if I do 60 grams of carbohydrates, so we'll just hop over to the blue bar here, it's going to estimate me at 1 hour and 31 minutes. So again, that's a 3 minute difference by doing 60 grams of carbs per hour versus zero. Very interesting. The reason that happened when I dived into the data in this my energy consumption over power, if you go to the 5 minute per mile, back in 2023, I was remembering, you might remember I said 99 grams was the number that I wanted you to have on the tip of your tongue. Well, now at 8 minutes per mile, that's 53 grams per hour. So I'm burning almost half of what I did in carbohydrates after 2 years of training, 99 grams to 53 at this particular pace. And even if I go faster to get to this faster half marathon, I'm still just at 65 grams per hour versus 99. So the difference is huge. I'm much more efficient at burning fats for fuel. That went from 54 grams in 2023 at 8 minutes per mile. So 54 to 72 grams per hour. So I'm burning more fats. Our body has a lot of fat to burn for fuel, and I'm burning much less carbohydrate. Well, imagine that on a 70.3, because this carries right over to the bike. I have a bike test too. I won't go into those details, but very similar type of results. Got more efficient. It's taking my time from 5.5 hours to maybe 4 hours and 50 minutes in a 70.3. And a lot of that is just the right training done over time and the improvements of metabolic efficiency that my body has seen over those times. And I'm still getting faster. So you think of your critical power at, oh, I guess it'd be your 5K pace for me, 6 minutes and 47 seconds per mile. versus 713. So quite a huge difference for critical power. So all good news. But if you don't test, you don't know. And if you don't test, you don't know if you should be working to change your VLA max, if you should be working on your critical power, or if you should be working on your fat max. You just don't know which lever to pull and how hard. And there are 7 pages to this report. The other pages give you insights on how to train properly, considering what your test results showed. So you can learn quite a bit. I'd say this is equal to, if not better than, getting a test, a VO2 max test, or any sort of other test. Because if you do a 20-minute test, you do a 5K test, you're just getting one number. You get an idea of your critical power, but and your critical speed. But you don't know your VO2 max, you don't know your VLA max, you don't know your fat max. So you just really don't have this data to fine tune your training and what you're going to need to consume on race day at a given pace. So that's my spiel of why Aerotune is important to me. And that's why I conduct Aerotune testing as part of Cycling Form and Fitness and doing business as. So again, you can always reach out for me, Facebook, email, Cycling Form and Fitness, and I'll be happy to get you on board for some Aerotune testing. These results are really a big game changer in deciding what training to do next and how to pace and race and feel properly. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, we'll talk soon.